mostly about knitting and spinning. I think tend to be a little bit much spinning too. I'm coming from the middle part of Sweden. I'm living with my husband and our 4 lovely children. And I used to do this like finished objects, work in progress, and new cast-ons, and future projects, and other crafts, and then maybe some acquisition if I have to, some, and also a little bit of shadow in that. So just let's start the fun part. I have not been recorded for a while now. I used to record once a week, once every 2 weeks, but it have been a lot of work on the farm, so I didn't have the time. So now finally I have some moments over when I used to take the kids to the school and kindergarten, so hopefully I will manage to do an episode today. So let's start with the fun part. If you are a returning viewer, you do already know that my oldest daughter is turning 11 this Friday, the 14th of October 14th. And she really wanted a pair of mittens from these Harry Potter Knitting the Magic, and she wanted, I see if I can do this pair of mittens. She's a big Harry Potter fan, and this week it's just a half finished object because the other one is not finished yet, but here's the first one. And I had to wait before I cast the other one on because I was so unsure if she actually could fit this one, because I realized when I had done to this part that it was really tight on my hand, and she has not so much smaller hands than I have, and I knitted the size small, but they fit her perfectly, so I could cast the other on yesterday. And this is all blocked. I have not cut the ends. I have woven them all in, but I have not cut them yet. But she really loved them, so I hope I can have rather mitten finished before Friday, and today is Tuesday. But I have started it, and I think I have worked up to the thumb on that one, but I didn't take it with me, so I can't show that one. Forgot it. So they're coming along pretty nicely, and I love the owls. But still, I am a little bit disappointed because I knitted this in the call for yarn, and that was Cambra Istex Camgarn. I cannot pronounce that. And I was ordering this in the same colorway as the pattern says, and when I'm looking at the picture is more like a contrast on the gray one, and this is so hard with just one arm. See if you can see the different. Yeah, I think it was too light, the gray. I think I talked about that in the last episode too, so it don't pop as the actual picture in the book. But you can still see it, but I don't think you can see the owls so well and nicely that you can see in the book. So hopefully she don't mind, but I'm thinking of knitting that. Of course I will knit other mitten up too, so she can have this on Friday hopefully. But then I'm actually thinking of going with some stash on and with a darker gray, so she can have 2 pairs of mittens, that one pair have a little bit more of a contrast. I think I would do it that way, because I think it would be super cute if you can see the owls on the cuff and up this palm of the hand pretty nicely, and you don't have to stand just 20 centimeters from her hand to actually see what it is on the mittens. But hopefully she will love them when she have them on Friday, so she can wear them, because it's starting to be a little bit cold here. Hold on a sec. Sorry for the little break. Was just my son calling and asked me a bunch of stuff. He had just arrived to school, so I don't even know why. He should be on a lecture or something, but no. Kids. So, what was I saying? Is knitting up another pair. I think it would be pretty nice. So that was my only half-finished object for this week. I have not a finished object because I have spread out all my knitting time of a bunch of different projects, because I think I might cast on quite too many projects this 2 weeks, even though I have been super busy. But anyway, so then we can talk about web. Yeah, where should we start? I only have, no, I have 2 whips, but I only have 1 whip. I actually have worked on this last week, and that is the beautiful yellow cardigan that I have over here. So I will just go and grab it. I can manage to hold it. Yeah, and don't drop the yarn on the floor. So, and this, I will try to, if I do it like this, maybe you can see it. Nope, didn't want to stay, and I would not put the stitch up, even though it don't do so much if I do some stitches, because it's a pretty sticky yarn, so they will not unravel on me. So here it is, and these make me crazy. That is, the hemming is rolling up on itself, and I have already tried to block it like 5 times I think now, and I was on a knit night in knitting with cat hair Slack group the other night, or on Tuesday's night, and when we was talking about this was not uncommon, because if I just had wrote the project page on Ravelry, I would know that many more have had this problem with this hem rolling up on itself. And if I had been smart and just look at the project page, I would of course doing this start. This start is like 4 rows of moss stitch, but then I probably would go with maybe ribbing or extend this, and I will solve this problem in this way now, that I want to pick up the stitches in this edge and continue to some more rows and sew it up in the back, so it don't gonna roll up when I actually wear the garment, because that would not be nice. So this is how far I have come right now, and it's starting to come along pretty well. And I will soon do the arm sticking stitch, put them in. If I would go directly after the pattern, I will already have put them in like here, but I will actually go for one of this main body pattern repeat before I do them, because I want my arms to be a little bit more narrow, not this super big and boxy arms like the pattern calls for. So I will do some modification, or I have already done lots of modification, I think, because I have swapped the yarn. I'm not doing it in Jameson Shetland Spindrift, I think it's called for. Hold on, I will look. Yes, Jameson Shetland Spindrift. I swap it out to Holst Super Soft in 4 different colors, and I have all of the colors I have chosen in 2 episodes ago in the description box if you are interested in which color I have chosen to this one. And do not hesitate to ask me if you want to knit this in this type of color in this yarn. Just ask me and I can tell you where I am putting the different types of colors in. I'm happy to share. So hopefully the arms holes will be done in the next episode. Probably not, but hopefully, because I have, as I said, started a few other projects, but this is coming along super nicely, and I will do something about the hem for that. And I will just put this away. And I do knit it on 3mm needles, even though it say in the pattern that it should be US 3. That will become 3 1/4, I think. 3.25mm needles, I think. Oh, I'm so bad on the US size to millimeters. I used to use millimeters. So, and this is how it will look. And you can see the sleeves. And when we was talking about this one on the knit night, a lady that's called Alexandra, I think. Oh, I have so hard time to remember the name actually, so I will not say it. That's actually her name. I think so. She showed me the picture of this, but in the actually book, Shetland book, and then it was another picture on it. Probably it's on Ravelry too, but not in this pattern. And there you can see this boxiness of the arm, so I get surprised when I should start the arm sticking so soon after this part. But when she showed me the picture and I saw it that way, I did not get surprised anymore. And then I decided I would start it more like here and do the arms more narrow, because I already have this problem that everything is just sliding down on this side that don't work, and I don't think that is super flattering at all, because yeah, I want them more narrow so maybe they can stay up a bit, even though it's more like a cardigan, so I can probably tighten it up a little bit more. But anyway, so that's the yellow cardigan that's coming along pretty well, and I really enjoy working on it. I love to work all over pattern work. Maybe I'm crazy, but I really do love it. So that is the only whip that I'm actually working on right now that I have shown you before, but I also have this shawl that I just wing together, that I'm usually working on in the evenings when I'm lying in bed and just often watching true crimes series, shows. No, I cannot speak so. And that's not unusual that I not can speak so. Yeah, I think I make like 3 or 4 more rows, and this one is knitted on 4mm needles, and it's knitted up in some. No, I dropped it on the floor. That one was good. Stash yarn I had at home, and it's brushed alpaca silk in the color. Why can't it just say what the color is on this one? Color 8, and I think this called like plume or something. If I cannot even remember, but I will link it down below. And the other part, baby merino mix, and the color is color 14, and I think this is called lavender or lilac. I cannot remember that either, but I will sure put it in the description box. And I do 2 rows with the brushed alpaca, and I do 2 rows with the baby merino, and just do an increase every other row, and I will just continue that when I think the wingspan is good enough, and then I will do the reverse way and just do some decreases instead, so it will be a basic triangle shaped shawl. So I'm going from not knitted a shawl in my entire whole life, and I've now been knitting for 22 years, to actually want to do a bunch of shawls. Yeah, it maybe seems crazy because I never thought that shawl knitting was not for me. I really like to do big garments like cardigans, sweaters, stuff like that. That's my thing. But I don't even wear a shawl, so I don't know why I'm trapped in this rabbit hole right now. But I thought the other day, because I have this struggle to actually put some hoodies on, I have struggles to put like a winter jacket on and stuff like that, that a shawl would be maybe suitable for me, or it will be pretty suitable for me, because then I can just throw it over me when I go out in the nights and just look at the farm animals, because I'm not out for so long anyway, so I will not start to freeze, and I'm not the type of person who actually do freeze a lot. I like the cold weather, I like snow, I like ice, I like when it's below minus 15 degrees Celsius. So I think a shawl would be pretty well suited for me right now, and more easily, so I don't have to actually run to my husband and ask him to help me to put a hood on or something like that. So that leads us to a new cast on, and no, I will not start with that one first. So I have to say, I do have a new design working on, and that's not so unusual that I do my own design and my own pattern, but I don't release them. And this time I actually do think I maybe will release this on Ravelry. I have not decided yet. I don't know if I have the courage to do it. We will see. But I started a top to my little baby Alma. She's the one who's 3 years old. If you're a returning viewer, you probably already know the little princess. And So this is also a new cast on, and I have not done so many working on this one right now. And it's all stockinette. It's just a 2.5mm ribbing, and it's all stockinette. And I think I will do some short rows on the back, so it's gonna be higher on the back and a little bit lower in the front. And then I would do I-cord bind off for the stripes. And she had already given this a name, and she called this, wait a second, I have to write it, Crazy Crayons. Because she was following about these colors, and she's crazy to play with crayons and do some writing with crayons. I think everything she draw or write is with crayons. So, and this yarn is Luxus sock yarn from Mayflower DK. It's a hand dye yarn, they say, and it's the color 5106, and it's called Inqua. That means lake. And I thought about using this color for other project, a sweater. I will not even try to pronounce it because it's in French, the name, and no, I will pop in a picture. And when I have caked this up, this started with I have a mystery yarn, and then I was ordering yarn for the project, and I didn't know where this yarn came from because I have been gifted this one from a friend a long time ago. And when I ordered the other yarn and I just put it together with these skein, when it was a skein, I just realized that, oh, it's the same one. So I caked this up, and I have played with this cake and look at it so many times and thinking about maybe that is not a good one to use for that sweater, because the main lower part of the body on the sweater is like basket weaves type of a structure on it, so it's actually quite busy already as it is, and I wanted these for the contrast of the yoke, but I think it's gonna be too busy, so I just wanted to see it knitted up a bit, and I sure happy I did, because we go from these small stripes like micro stripings to a bunch of pooling, and I have not done some increase or decreases, and I have not changed the needle size or something like that, so it's not gonna remain in this micro striping, and this pooling is coming along pretty big, I think, and I'm not really into this type of pooling in that type of sweater. I think pooling can be super nice in other project, but not in this super busy sweater. So I will order some other type of yarn for that type of sweater, like more muted. I think I will still use a vibrant type of color, but not so speckly, and yeah, like this. I will just choose another type, maybe more solid color or something like that, with maybe just a little bit of fading in it. I will see. I have to think about that, so we will see. in a future episode, I think. So that's also another design I'm working on, even though I have not even talked about. Yes, I have. I just did. The shawl. I have a memory like a goldfish. So I also talked about in the last episode when we was talking about mostly about spinning for a friend of mine that asked me if I could talk about spinning, and I did. And I talked about spinning up some Shetland and blue-faced Leicester for a shawl that was named Blåklocka, and I have ironed that pattern for a long time, and I bought the pattern a while ago, and it's from a Swedish brand who called Järbo, and I thought I would spin up the fibers and do this beautiful yarn for that shawl. But when I have spun up all the yarn, I decided no, I will not do that shawl in this yarn at all, because it's called for Swedish wool to thread, I think it was, and mohair. So you will have a section with just mohair, so it will be super lacy, and then it's gonna be thicker again, and that's repeat through it all. And I really didn't want to put in the blue-faced Leicester in this type of lacy section of the shawl, so I decided instead to do my own design, of course, on a shawl. And I wanted to play with texture, and I started to play with texture already when I was spinning the fibers, because I decided to spin the Shetland. I did it. It's the Shetland, and I decided to spin this one woolen weight. So another time I got interrupted of some call. Maybe I should put my phone on don't disturb. No, I cannot do that. So that I was talking about, I do another type of shawl instead of the Blåklocka, and I started to play with the structure already when I was spinning up the fibers. And I started with the Shetland, and I chosen to spin it up in a woolen way, woolen spun instead of worsted spun, even though it come in com tops, but I chosen to just spin it up in the fold instead. And if you are a spinner, you know exactly what I'm talking about right now. And I chosen to spin up the blue-faced Leicester worsted spun. So it's already quite different between texture in these two, even though it's not so much of a big difference in the colors, but it's a big difference in the texture of them, because when you do a woolen spun, you get this fizziness, and it's not showing up so well, but it have a little bit of a halo to it. But woolen spun don't have that type of halo to it, because it's a round yarn and more dense, because you don't have, oh no, I'm just unscanned it, so because all the fiber is going in the same direction, and when you do a woolen spun, the fiber is going in all type of directions, so you have this little bit of fuzziness, and it's not so round, it's more texture. And if you're using like spindrifts, Jameson and Shetland spindrift, and I also think Jameson and Smith's type of yarn, they are often woolen spun. So, and that's more airy, because you allow more air into a woolen spun, and in worsted spun, because they will be more dense, not hard like ropey, but it will be more dense and more round. But they are super soft and squishy, and I really love them, and it smells amazingly so much sheep. And I'm obsessed of that smell. And I have started my own design. I'm just playing with texture in this one. I just do whatever I feel to do in this one. So I started to do some big bubbles, and then I just go over to do some stockinette stitch, and I also do this braid, wiggle braid, just call it that. I will pop it on the screen because I cannot remember. And I chose to do this braid between every type of section I have chosen to do. And here you can also see it. The woolen spun will fill up more, and the worsted spun will be a lighter yarn, so that's thinner in one way. It don't fill up the stitches as much and a woolen spun do. So yeah, I started with bubbles, I do the braid, and here I have just done some stock stitch, and then I did some garter stitch and more stock stitch and new braid, and here I just played with a little bit of garter stitch, and yeah, and then I do some bubbles again, and yeah, it's starting to be something. It's not even half done because I'm thinking I'm leading to do a slanket instead of a shawl, and just playing along. I'm thinking about add in some twisted stitch right now, or maybe slip stitch. I have not decided yet, but I do have wrote everything down when I do this, because often when I actually do a design, a pattern or something like that, I don't write it down, so I can never do the garment 2 times. Yes, I do that when I bake too. I just doing something together and it tastes pretty nice, and then I cannot remember how I did it. But this time with this one and the top for Alva and the other shawl is super easy. I just do an increase every 2 rows. I start with 3 stitches, and then I just knitted 2 rows and 1 row, and the other row I just do some increase in the end, and I keep going like that. So that's just super easy. But here in these 2 balls you can also see the difference, even though it's more on this now, but you can see that quite different between wool and worsted spun yarn. And I think that it's pretty funny that it can be so much difference just the way you choose to spin it up. So this shawl is coming along pretty well. I'm actually do really love to work on it. And yeah, hopefully I will have the shawl or blanket. I have not really decided yet how big it will be. And Alva's Crazy Crayons top finished before next episode. Hopefully, I cannot promise, but hopefully I will. That's depend how much time I actually do have to knit. And now I have stuck in a little bit of a rabbit hole again, because I do more or less exclusively knitting on a new pattern. I will talk about that really soon, but not right now. So now I have to do this spoiler alert, because I told you in the last episode, if you did watch, that I will join Stevens West Mystery Knit Along this year if I could find the right fibers to spin up for the shawl. Because when I heard about the shawl was calling Twist and Turn, then I just decided that if you name a shawl twist and turn to a spinner, that's a big sign of you have to spin the yarn yourself. Or maybe not. Maybe it's just a reason to spin the yarn, if you ask me. So I was not sure in the last episode if I even would manage to actually join in for it, because it takes time to spin up the yarn, and I had not chosen the fibers, and I didn't even know what I was going for, what colors, nothing at all. But I find them, and they are all over here. I have already spun up the other half of these, and I have on the main color and the contrast colors 2 more braids to go. But I spun up the first 50 grams of these. This comes in 100 grams of fiber. So this is my main color, and it's called hazelnut. And this is my contrast color. It's called rose, and it's not so bright as you see it here. It's really super bright on the screen. I will pop in a picture. And this is my accent color. So this is how it looked together. Yeah. And now I see that the accent color and the contrast color blending together in this light. So it's actually more of a pop and shows up here. I will show it in the upspun version 2 when I have tangled it all out. And 2, I didn't even manage to cake them. I just rolled them into balls. So here is my contrast color, my main color, and here is my pop. And I know it's more of a muted way, but if I would do a Mr. Knit Along and a shawl with Stephen West design, he's so flamboyant, and I do like to look at his design, because I think they are funny, they are so unique, but it's not the type of thing I used to wear. So I thought if I should be able to wear it and it's not gonna lay in my wardrobe or just hang somewhere, I have to choose color carefully. And so I did. So here's the spoiler alert on the clear one, and I have not going far at all. And this is how it's starting to look with this little lettering stuff. I already know what it will be because I have to look at the video. And it's gonna be chevron between, and that's gonna be like super nice. But I do not rush, and I don't even try to manage to do it on this 5 weeks, and I never thought to do that either. I just wanted the joy of the process of knitting this unique design and the mystery feeling and stuff like that. So I do it in my own pace, I think. And I do like to work on it, but I just get so tired of picking up all the stitches and biting off all the stitches. So, but I will keep working on it soon when I have get up from my little rabbit hole. And I just have to show these because they are so adorable. This is stitch marker my daughters make. I hope I can focus on it. No, not really, but she makes these super cute little stitch markers. with candies and donuts and oh, this direction we should go. See if it can focus. No, it's not. As you said, I can put my hand behind it. No. Yeah. Anyways, I don't think it can focus pretty well, but I maybe insert a picture. They are super cute, I think. And so that's my twist and turn shawl, and I have a bunch of more time with the spinning wheel ahead of me to do these other parts of this one, and also these 2 braids that I have to do, so I have the right amount of yarn for the shawl. And I do back ply it on itself, because I thought in the first that I just should go with, and I also chosen to do this woolen spun. Is 100% merino. The fiber is coming from Limo Design. Did you get surprised? No, I don't think so. But I have to spin the other one up, because my old little lady, that's my spinning wheel I'm talking about right now, I can only apply 50 grams. When I apply it, I can fit like lace weight or just one strand fingering weight, almost 100 gram. If I do it lace weight, I can fit 100 gram exactly, and it's don't gonna like pop off the bobbins or so. But yeah, so I cannot do more than 50 gram skein if I'm applying it. And as I said, I think I said it, I thought to just go with one strand at first, but I decided to apply it because I wanted a little bit more of the texture in the yarn anyway. So yeah, that was all about the Mr. Knit Along. I think it was not much, but I am not working so much. Maybe I will have some more progress on it in the next episode or so. We will see. But then we can talk about my new rabbit hole. It's a little bit of a sad story to begin. If you are a returning viewer, you know how I have been struggled with this design from Marie Wallin. The L cardigan is also from Marie Wallin, but on this stuff of it. And it have been a pain in the butt from the beginning to the end. And it started with, wait a second, I have to think. It started with I have to be rushed back to the hospital because I was actually losing my sight, like completely. I got completely blind in a few moments, so when I was focused on stuff. So I had to be rushed back to the hospital, and they told me I have this bunch of bleeding in my neck that was pressure on the nerve to the eyes. So it started there. It was not good. And then I have just do the hem, the start of the hem. And if you don't know the pattern of dovetail or how the sweater looks like, I will pop in a picture, but it is all overlays pattern and cables and stuff like that, and it's super nice, it's super beautiful, and I really wanted to knit it up for my mom when she had her birthday, and her birthday was the 28th of September, so they have already passed. But anyway, when I come back from the hospital again and I feel it a little bit better with some new medication, stuff like that, blah blah blah, and I could work for a few moments around the day on it, and I was more or less exclusively knitting on that because I really wanted it finished for my mom. then the cable broke on my cable needles, and I didn't have any spare needles. Nope. And I couldn't repair them, so I had to order new ones, and they took forever to come. And when they arrived, I started knitting again, and then I have to switch. I have knit up a whole yarn ball and started with a new yarn ball. And I always start from the inside because they are just these balls. So I always start with the inside, and I don't cake them up or something like that. I just go with them. And when I have knitted for like 10 centimeters or so, the color started to change, and I have never ever had that experience with drops alpaca or drops yarn anyway, with the color changing. And it started with just be a little bit of lighter green, and I think, oh wait a second, so I started to pull the thread out, and when I had pulled like 5 or 6 meters out, it started from light green to white to purple to pink. And I had never ever experienced that before in a commercial yarn. And it was not only this ball, this ball is a new one, because I have to send them all back, because it was pretty much different in all the balls I had, and I think I had 12 or something like that. Not so hard ball that the first one I was pulling out, but you can see the difference between from this dark army green to light green and even to white, but not the pink and purple. Good enough. But then I had to send it back because I called the company I ordered from, and they told me, can you send the balls back? And I did, and I had to rip that out when it started to be light green also, so I had to rip back like 5 centimeters or so. And I do not do lace with a lifeline. Maybe I should start doing that. And ripping back lace without a lifeline. It's not so easy, so I did actually knit it backwards instead, and it took forever. So I had to wait till the new yarn arrived, and everything was good. They solved my problem. They were super friendly, and they solved it really quick. It arrived even before I think my yarn had arrived to them, the yarn that was horrible wrong. So I had them in like between 2 or 4 days, like something like that. And I started to knit again, and it come along pretty well, and I still have this trouble with my eyes, and I got new lenses and started to see nicely again, and it's starting to flow. Then I had, oh my god, I left my knitting on the living room table, and I had to go away for a little while, and my husband was home with the 2 youngest, and he had a pretty rough night, so he and my little Alva sat on the sofa and watched some movies, and he fell asleep, and my little Alva decided she's gonna knit the daffodil. And I can say so much that she really do knit backwards. She literally pulled up all the yarn from the daffodil. So when I come back home, oh my god, she just stand and look at me with her angel cute little eyes. You cannot even get mad at her when she have that look at you. And told me, "Mommy, look what I've made." And I just went down on the floor and stopped laughing. Like, I laughed so the eyes was tearing. And my husband woke up, and he is, what happened? Oh my god. And I had already cast off for one of the shoulder on the back piece, and I should just cast off on the other shoulder. So I was almost finished with the back piece, but now it's dead. It's all frogged up, and I think the daffodil was not meant to be in my case. And I have decided I will knit the daffodil again, and I will convert it to knit it in the round instead in pieces, and I would change out the yarn. I will not go for drops alpaca because this is so slippery and it grows a bit on the length. And no, I think I would go more of a woolly yarn type of stuff like that, something. I have not really decided yet. Maybe I will spin it up myself. Oh no, now I'm in the spinning rabbit hole again. So anyway, that means that all the yarn for the daffodil was left over. And in the Slack group from Knitting with Cat here, Nikki, I will link her here somewhere. She's the sweetest person in this knitting community, I think. No, it's many sweet persons, but anyway, we have some lovely knit nights. And in her Slack group, a lady was sharing a pattern from line issue 12, maybe. Well, I can't even remember. That's called Water Lilies. And here's the pattern, and I know it's a black and white because I have run out of colors in my printer. But I immediately fall in love with this one. And it comes with 2 options in the pattern. And now it's a pay for pattern because they had it free for just on this Sunday. No, Saturday, I think it was. Oh, anyways, it's not free anymore. And I just thought, maybe I should do that. I will so do that. Because it's almost stuck in it. It's some type of lace. What it is some lace pattern. It's nothing complicated at all. I can probably just sit and look at my true crimes shows and stuff like that and just knit on it. So I thought just to hold these 2 double, because it called for a DK weight, and this is a fingery sport weight. If you're a spinner, you will probably put this in finger weight. If you look at Drops website, they call it sport weight. So I'm more leading to finger weight. And when I do the gauge swap with hold this 2-stranded, it was spot on with the right needles too. So, but I woke up on Sunday and it was frost all over the ground, on the lawn and on the trees, and I just thought I want something cozy and fluffy and crispy and something to remind me on this green grass and the frost, because that's my favorite time of year, when frost arrives, when snow arrives and stuff like that. So I chosen to hold it together with another stash that I have, and I don't know why I have so much of these in my stash. Brushed alpaca silk in the colorway 2, and I think it's called Silver Gray. And together come the frost on the green pine tree, I think. Maybe not, but in my head it do. And I started the cardigan version of the water lilies, and I have already completed the arms. And I know you cannot see the lace motif so well, it's here somewhere, but I have used brushed alpaca silk so many times, and when I did my mom's Empress cardigan also I used it. Maybe there's, yeah, now I know where this comes from. And I know when you wash it, it's not gonna be this fluffy. Most of the fluff is just falling off, so I think I will be pretty safe with the lace motif. It's probably gonna show when I have washed it and blocked it anyway, but I don't mind. I just wanted a fluffy cardigan. So both the sleeves are done, and I always do this when you knit from the bottom up. I always start with the sleeves because that's the boring part, and I always want my cardigan to be completed when I do the bind off for the neck. So here's the hem. You're starting the ribbing of the hem, and in the pattern it's called for that you should pick up the bottom band after you have done the body, but I have chosen to insert my bottom band before, and I'm not gonna do it in ribbing. I'm just doing it in garter stitch, and yeah, I just like when everything is finished, when you don't have to seam stuff in anyway. So when I actually do cast off, bind off the neck, I just have to sew under the armholes and insert the buttons, and then it's all finished. And I like that, even though I like to sew. So that's my water lily coming along, and I started this in Sunday morning. When I woke up, I just got that feeling, and so I just lit the fire on the wood stove, brew a cup of coffee, and cast it on. So hopefully I will show you more of a progress on that in the next episode. I don't think it's gonna be finished, but I cannot say it's not gonna be finished. It can happen, because now we go into a little bit more calm pace over here. So that's all for the projects I have this time, but I do have a future cast on, and it involved spinning, of course, and it's a new shawl. Yeah, and that's just strange. I cannot believe it, still not believe it, that I'm knitting shawls now. And it's coming from this book that I ordered a while ago, because my husband and my oldest son wanted some blanket. No, the blanket is not in here. I have to do a new design. I have promised my son that. Anyway, yeah, want some pillowcase from this book, and my husband wants this Death Star to do a lamp into our living room, because they are super big Star Wars fans. I'm not a Star Wars fan at all, but my living room have this theme of Star Wars, because that's his area. I have my little corner, my crafty corner in the living room. That's my space, even though he have put up a Star Wars picture behind it. But anyway, so I was super bored one night, and I had so much pain in my left arm, so I couldn't knit. So I started to just look through the books, the Harry Potter book and this Star Wars book, and just look at all the type of pattern in them. And I saw these. Oh, I see it's all blurry. or shiny. And this called the Rebel Allies Shawl, and it's made of Susan Icy. Okay, sorry Susan Icy. And here maybe you can see it better. And it goes from blue to purple, and it's off-white, and it's all in lace weight. And this have these beautiful beads. And when I was spinning up, or it's more like a dusty purple up here. I think it didn't show so well. But anyway, even if it's not dusty, maybe it's more like a dusty pink. But I have decided that I really want to spin up some good lace weight, because it was so long ago I really did just one strand lace weight, even though I always start with lace weight and apply it to a finger weight. But it was years ago I did a fine lace weight one stranded yarn, and so I decided I have so much white fibers, and I will mix it up a little bit with some brown fibers too, because I want more of a light beige instead of white, because when you have small kids and white stuff, you all know what's happened. So I will mix up a bit, and then I will spin up this beautiful one, and it's already mixed with some white fibers in it, so this is gonna be more like a dusty light purple. This is gonna be super nice. I already know that it's gonna be super nice. And this blue one with stellina in it, so it's all shiny. And this is have also this white parts in it, so it's gonna be much more lighter than what it is right now. So these two I will spin up in a good lace weight to the shawl, and also I have to prepare the other fiber. Maybe I have to ask my husband for some help with that, because I cannot card that myself, because that just make me in a lot of pain. So this is my future cast on, future plan, but this will be in a future episode, because I will not spin that fiber up right now, because I have to spin this up, and I also I have already spin all the blue face Lister up. So I have to spin that up for Mr. Knit Along, and I have so many other projects to work on. So now I have decided I can not cast on a new project before something is finished, because it's starting to be a little bit much now. So that was all of the crafty thing for this week, and it's gonna be a long episode again. Sorry. So what else have happened? If you don't want to listen on live stuff, and then I'm super happy that you stick so far in this episode, and I hope you have a lovely week and you are feeling well. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Please leave a comment, tell me what you're working on, how you're feeling. That really do brightens my day a lot. But for the chit chat, oh my god, have I something fun to talk about? All the potatoes is up and in and stored, so we are finished with that. So now I have some more time to knit. Actually, that's super fun. It's all this crazy season that my now more 2 biggest children is playing hockey. It have just been my oldest son. He's the one who's a goalie who's play hockey. My youngest daughter has playing floorball because she have been away from hockey for 3 years now because she got asthma. But anyway, it used to be a little bit stressful because they have practice like 4 times a week. But my son did injure himself last Tuesday. He got a severe muscle tearing in his thigh. So he's away from hockey for a while now, and he have to rest, and he have to go to some rehab to heal up nicely and well again. He's starting to feel much better already, but he will not be allowed out in the ice again. He has already cheated and tried, but he walked up off the ice and told me that I had right. Mom is right. You should just listen to me. Anyway, but he's starting to feel much better now. And so hopefully the rehab would help him and he will soon be back on the ice again. But anyway, that means I have even more knitting times, then I don't have to go to all this practice. So I have to see the good things in the bad things. But anyway, on the farm stuff, as I said, the potatoes is done. The apple is all over the ground. It's dropping like crazy, it's falling down, and we have to pick them up like every single day. We take like 5 or 6 big boxes away with apples just in the front yard. Then we have the backyard, but we take in the backyard, they can stay there because the dog don't get over there, and I don't want my dogs to eat the apple because they got so much pain in their stomach and becomes really sick if they eat too much apples. So we have to pick them up. So much time goes to picking apples, and we have lots of apples. I will pop in picture now on all the apples. But the fall is arriving in this full glory, and this morning when I wake up, or when the kids wake up, I was already awake, when the sun rises, my trees in the front yard, the first thing I see when I step out on the porch was like these beautiful trees that's like they were all on fire with the sun shining on them. They were so beautiful. So it's more happy times. The things that's going on with me, my shoulder and things like that, yeah, it's have been six months since I met the crappy surgeon who caused this injury for me that made me paralyzed in my arm. I'm not frustrated or so, and it's been a big milestone. I can just look back and see how far I have come to adapt to this type of life. I have find some small things to do to use my arm in a certain way, because I cannot even lift this part up. I can hold my underarm in one type of position for a little while, because the muscle, they could repair my hand and they could save one muscle in the underarm, but I have to position my arm in that way with my other arm to keep it that way. The hand otherwise, I can move the hand, and if I move my hand quite hard and push it really hard, then I can move a little bit on my underarm, but it don't work on itself. So I have find my own little ways to manage to do something with the arm, and I'm do all my rehab I should do, and I still on a bunch of medications. I don't even know how many pills I have to take every day to even sit here and do this podcast or function as a mom, as a wife, as a homemaker, as a farm owner. It takes a lot of medication to even get up from the bed. So anyway, I starting to feel a little bit more bright on the future now, and I starting to feel a little bit more happy, even though the pain have not changed at all. But I think my mindset have changed a lot, and I also think that my anger and revenge feelings is the big thing I have to struggle with, because yeah, I'm angry. I'm super angry. Yeah, I want a big huge revenge through the surgeon, but not for me, because I don't want anyone to go through this. Not anyone. So yeah, and I'm not gonna give up. So anyway, that's the life over here right now. It's starting to feel so much lighter, so much better in one way, even though I still have this sleeping issue. But on Tuesdays I have this knitting night that keep me company with Nikki, because that's literally in the night over here. It's 1 o'clock in the night over here, but I cannot sleep, and between 1 o'clock in the night and to 3 in the morning, it's the worst part of the night for me, because then I am in so much pain, so I cannot sleep anyways. And then I have this nice company, and we're talking about knitting, and we're just having a good time, and this has helped a lot, I think. So I have something to look forward to. But anyways, everything is going good. The animals that did survive and get injured in the fox attack, they have healed up so nicely, and they are back to the normal, and they are super happy again. They are not frightened to death. They are healthy and well again, and that's made me super happy. It have been a little bit of a struggle to actually learn to live with the emptiness, because we lost so many animals, but we're starting to adapt to that too now, and we have looked at new rabbits for the kids, but that will be in the spring, not now in the fall. So that's everything that's going on right now, and I think I should stop talking because this is gonna be a real long episode. So sorry for that, and I hope every one of you having a really lovely day today, and that you have so much time for your crafting. Don't forget to rest, and also I hope you take care about yourself and care of your loved ones. And please like and subscribe if you like my channel, and please leave a comment. Just tell me what you're working on, or tell me something, whatever. Something, what you are doing, what's on your mind. I just love to read your comments and reply to all of them. And I hope I will see you in 1 or 2 weeks. Bye bye.